Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Join me and see what's coming up. So, um, welcome back to the Grateful Rose River Homestead. I'm Paisley Girl. Today we are going to be making homemade mayonnaise and then also taking half of that, or close to half of it, and making tartar sauce, because in a few days we're going to be having some fish and fries. So I was like, well, since I'm making the homemade mayo today, then I'll go ahead and make the homemade tartar sauce so it can sit and the flavors can marry and all that fun stuff. So you'll see here on my counter I have a bunch of stuff out here. I have pre-measured most of the things, but we'll go through it. Anyone that is interested in making their own homemade mayonnaise, there's a few key things that you need to remember. You want a room temperature egg, not cold. You want it to be room temperature. Now this egg was in the refrigerator. I've been letting it set out now for about 30 minutes or so, and it's room temperature. Then over here I have, let's bring it down a little bit. I have a cup, or half, this is 1 cup of oil. Also, another important thing about your oil, you want a very light oil. Avocado oil, you can even use coconut oil, like a fractured coconut oil. Now you can use olive oil. I know that you can buy olive oil or mayonnaise in the store, but just for a recommendation, your kitchen, your rules, but I would not use the extra virgin olive oil because it has such a strong taste, and we don't tend to like that. If you're going to use olive oil, and that's what you have in your kitchen, you want a light olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil comes from the first press, so you get the most strongest flavor. And then if you go with the light, from like a second or third press preferably, then you won't notice it as much. So just remember that about your oil. Also, you're going to want 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. I do not have dry mustard. Something I need to put on the pantry list. So if you don't have dry mustard, that's okay. Don't fret. You can use 1 tablespoon of prepared mustard in place of the 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. I think I might have said tablespoon, I'm sorry. So you want 1 teaspoon of dry mustard, and if you don't have it, then you can substitute for 1 tablespoon of prepared mustard. I'm going to be using a wide mouth jar because I'm going to be also using my immersion blender to make the mayonnaise. I have, with my research, seen that people have used just a regular blender. If that works for you, that's fine. I have not tried that myself, so I'm going to be using my immersion blender today. And some people will emulsify the egg first and then start adding the other ingredients slowly. I don't find that necessary, but you know, everyone has their own unique ways of doing it. I just usually start with the oil, and then I put the egg on top of it, and then the lemon juice, because you do not want to use the store-bought lemon juice. You want to use fresh lemon juice because store-bought lemon juice has other preservatives in it and things. So I did get a whole lemon today, 2 of them actually, and I've already cut 1 and squeezed the juice in here and made sure there was no seeds and stuff, so that I have my fresh lemon juice ready to go. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. we're going to start with 1 cup of our oil. And I'm going to pour that in our jar. Now also with the egg, I'm going to use a whole egg. Some people will just use the egg yolk. And if you're using 1 cup of oil, then I'm going to recommend 3 egg yolks. But I'm just going to use the whole egg. I'm going to put that in there next. Then I'm going to put my tablespoon of lemon juice. Then you're going to need a teaspoon of dry mustard or a whole tablespoon of prepared mustard. It's going to give you your tang that you like and your mayonnaise. Need your ½ teaspoon of salt. You can use sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, any salt that you want. I'm not really going to measure too much. I'm just going to do it in my hand. About a ½ of a teaspoon. And then I'm going to stick my emulsion blender straight down into the jar. At this point, you do not want to go up and down with it. You don't want to move it around. You just want to turn it on, and you want it to start emulsifying. And it's going to be loud, so I'm not going to talk too much during this part. But move this out of the way so we don't knock it. You can see that it is starting to emulsify. At this point, as you're seeing that it's emulsifying, moving it up and down. Until you get the desired consistency that you're looking for your mayonnaise. Alright, so I'm going to take this out, and you can see the consistency of mayonnaise. So let me grab my little thing here. And get that off because we don't want to waste anything. Then I'm just going to stir it up here to make sure that we got all the ingredients in there blended and ready to marry together. And this is going to make a cup of mayonnaise. But as you can see, it smells good. Let's do a taste test here. Oh yeah, that's really good. So we got that done. And you're seeing it only took a few minutes, like literally, to make the whole thing, 10 minutes to get everything together and get it prepared, but actually making it, 30 seconds. and then you have mayonnaise. Now this mayonnaise here, because it doesn't have all the preservatives like you get the store-bought mayonnaise and things, will only stay good in your refrigerator 3 to 5 days. 3 being the best day to use it by. 5 days probably wouldn't use it after that, just because it does have raw egg in it. So that's what we're going to do for our mayonnaise. And then we're going to move on to making tartar sauce for our fish dinner. So let me clean some of this up and then we'll move on to that. So, as you know, we got the mayonnaise done. So at this point, we are going to go into making the tartar sauce. I have here about a half cup, maybe a little bit less, chopped very finely dill pickles. And I'm just going to put that in my bowl. Now, you can use relish. I do have some relish in the pantry, but I also had some little straggling pickles that were just sitting in the fridge, so I was like, let's use those up. We don't eat a lot of tartar sauce, so I'm just making enough for like one meal, so I'm using a half a cup of the pickles. Then I'm going to take a half cup of our mayonnaise that we just made. Measure it out here. A little bit more. Half cup. So you got 1/2 cup or a half cup of dill pickles, and now you have a half cup of mayonnaise. Now you can do this with regular store-bought mayonnaise, but I decided since I'm making mayonnaise today that we can just use that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on, clean this off, and I'll have to wash my hands. But go ahead and put my lid on my mayonnaise and get it in the refrigerator so we can have that for lunch or something. Got my hands washed. Now, this is dill that I grew in our garden, the apartment garden. If you've been around for a while, you remember that. If you haven't, go ahead and look back at the previous videos where we grew an apartment garden. I'm going to be putting, about a tablespoon, and I'm not really going to measure it, but I'm going to be putting about a tablespoon in here. And I'm going to crush it up a little bit. Mess, but that's okay. So that's the dill that came from the apartment garden, I believe 2020. So now we're going to add a teaspoon of the fresh lemon juice. And then you're going to want a teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to counteract a little bit, just a little bit more here. A little bit of that tartness. Then you're going to want about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And at this point, if you want, I did not do this today because we don't really put onions in our tartar sauce. But you can take like a half an onion and dice it up really, really small like you do the pickles. And you can add that also. So at this point, we're just going to mix this up. Make sure that it's good mixed. Look at that. Oh, smells so good. And we're just going to put it in our little container and let it sit until we're ready to use it on Fish Fry Day. Nope. There I go, making a mess. I wouldn't be in the kitchen if I wasn't making a mess. And then I will wipe the rims off here. And there's the tartar sauce in the container now. I'm going to go ahead and close this up and put it in the refrigerator. And that's how you make your own mayonnaise and your tartar sauce. We're getting ready to eat lunch today. Papa Bear's in the kitchen now, taking over for that. Carmen is ready for her lunch. And that's what we're going to be doing, is enjoying our lunch today. And hope you enjoyed the video. We thank you for coming by. And hopefully you learned how to make your own tartar sauce and your own mayonnaise from scratch. And we appreciate you. We love you. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our future videos. And don't forget to return to the video of showing the dill that was harvested out of the apartment garden that we're still able to use today because I dehydrated it. And we'll see you all soon. You have a wonderful week. Love you.
That's all, folks.
And you hear Papa Bear. Bye, y'all.